Thank you, Alex. So good morning. My name is David Krober. I am filling in for Jim Sanders, who had something unexpected come up this morning. He was going to be the worship associate today, so you're going to get me instead. And you're lucky because the peeling and scaling of my face from sunburn and dermatology cream is gone, so I don't look like Deadpool up here this morning. So again, I'm David Krober. I'm a member of this congregation and our worship associate today. On the behalf of the Reverend Dave Dunn, our Director of Religious Exploration, Lexi T. Brown. Is she in here? No? Our Music Director, Alex Peach, the wonderful Chalice Choir, and the technical team that is making today's live stream possible. I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. So welcome to everyone who's joining us remotely on the live stream. And if we have any visitors that are here with us for the first time today and you feel comfortable doing so, please stand and tell us your name and where you're from so we can worship together as friends. Do I have any first-time visitors over here on my left? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Well, welcome, Stephanie and Matthew. Good to see you. Yeah, welcome. Any other first-time visitors? Here? Oh, yes. My second time, but I was late last week. So welcome, Meredith.
Welcome.
Yeah. There you go. Yes.
My wife Meredith, first time we moved to Atlanta about a year ago from North Carolina.
Okay. Welcome, Tony and Meredith. Yeah. Miss anybody else? Well, good. Well, we're glad you're here. The greeters may have already told you, but you can scan the QR code on the back of your order of worship to get more information if you'd like that. So we'd like to acknowledge that the land upon which this congregation is situated is the former home of the Muskogee and Cherokee nations and many other native peoples that have gone before them. So we honor them. So a couple of announcements today. We've got several adult enrichment offerings during second hour. They're listed in your order of worship along with the youth RE schedule for today and for the next couple of weeks. So there's a lot of offerings today for adult enrichment. Consider them and choose wisely. One of the big things that we've got today is UU 101. So if you are here and are interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism or about UUMAN specifically, you're welcome to attend. The course is particularly relevant for those that are new to our congregation or new to UU. You can see Lynn Hannon if you have questions. And again, drop-ins are welcome. If you're not registered, that's okay, right, Lynn? That's all right. Good, good. Okay, civic engagement will absolutely determine the future. Georgians may have the last word. Rosie wants to acknowledge your work with a picture on the wall. You may have seen Rosie in the lobby. If you have more questions, see Gus Haydorn. We're looking for additional photos to go up on that wall. So next Sunday, we're going to have a special service. We will travel to the year 4024, 2,000 years into the future. And our youth will uncover the lost religion of Unitarian Universalism. You don't want to miss this one. And now let us greet one another in the hand of friendship.
Morning. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You've been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there's a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into your being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to the possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and to share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. And now let us light our chalice together.
Our chalice lighting reading today is called We Cast Not Our Eyes Below by Ma Teresa Tet Castillo Gallardo. We cast not our eyes below. We say to ourselves, we are how we came, wounded from struggles, triumphant in our survival, entitled by birthright to belong to this, the only humankind there is, saying, I am included, I belong, I am here, I will be and do. I will breathe joy into a desolation. I will breathe peace into a conflict. I will breathe life into destruction. I will be earth that I wish to see. I am growth and hope and glee. And now, please stand if you are able and join us in the singing of hymn 1017 in your teal hymnal, Building a New Way. All right, it's time for our wondering time or story for all ages. So children of all ages, you're welcome to come up here and sit on the floor. And I've got a story for you today. Good morning. Good morning. How many of you know about frog and toad? Anybody? Oh, good, good. Yeah. So I'm going to read a story today to you from Frog and Toad are friends. And I love Frog and Toad because they are such good friends and they help each other and they learn from each other. Yeah. All right, so the story today is called A Lost Button. You like this one? Okay. Maybe I should get you to come up and read it. Yeah. All right, so, and this is a book you can read yourself. Yeah. So, okay, let me read it today, and then I'll let y'all take it and read it, okay? Here we go. So Toad and Frog went for a long walk. They walked across a large meadow. They walked in the woods. They walked along the river. At last, they went back home to Toad's house.
"Oh, drat," said Toad. "Not only do my feet hurt, but I have lost one of the buttons on my jacket."
"Oh, don't worry," said Frog. "We will go back to all the places where we walked. We will soon find your button." So they walked back to the large meadow. They began to look for the button in the tall grass.
"Here is your button,"
cried Frog.
"Ugh, that is not my button," said Toad. "My button is black, and that button is white."
Toad put the black button in his pocket. A sparrow flew down. "Excuse me," said the sparrow. "Did you lose a button? I found one."
That is not my button," said Toad. "That button has 2 holes, and my button had 4 holes."
So Toad put the button with the 2 holes into his pocket. They went back to the woods and looked along the dark path.
"Here is your button,"
said Frog.
That is not my button," said Toad. "That button is small, and my button was big."
Toad put the small button into his pocket. Then a raccoon came out from behind a tree. I heard you were looking for a button," he said. "Here's one that I just found."
That is not my button," wailed Toad. "That button is square, and my button was round."
Toad put the square button into his pocket in his jacket. Frog and Toad went back to the river. They looked for the button in the mud.
"Here is your button,"
said Frog.
"That is not my button," shouted Toad. "That button is thin."
And slammed the door. And there, on the floor, he saw his white, 4-holed, big, round, thick button.
"Oh," said Toad, "it was here all the time. What a lot of trouble I have caused for Frog."
So Toad took all of the buttons out of his pocket. He took his sewing box down from the shelf. Toad sewed the buttons all over his jacket. The next day, Toad gave his jacket to Frog. Frog thought that it was wonderful. He put it on and jumped for joy. None of the buttons fell off because Toad had sewed them on very well. The end. Let's see if I get my regular voice back here. So now is a time in the service where the love that binds us together is spoken aloud. Within the loving community of this congregation, we take time to share with one another our joys and sorrows. If you're so moved, please feel free to come forward, take a pebble from the bowl, and drop it, and share a joy or sorrow that you may have. If you're attending via our live stream, please share a joy or sorrow in the chat, and I'll try to read those at the end.
I'm Meredith McCaskey. I'm a member here, and I have a pebble of joy because I was accepted into grad school this week. Thank you. I'm going to start next semester at KSU in their Masters of Professional Writing program. So.
Hello. I'm Carolyn Lee, and I have a pebble of joy for my husband Mark's brother, who we finally got moved down from North Carolina. He had no immediate family. He had fractured his spine. Mark had to spend weeks with him. We moved him into Chambrel, which we have a couple of members who live there. And he's doing a lot better. He did re-injure his spine a little bit. Hopefully we don't have to do any more surgery. But he's actually in independent living right now, 2 days, so we're hopeful that he'll do well there. And also, if you lost a cell phone in the living area over here, I put it over there by the greeter's desk.
It's probably mine. My daughter had it.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Ratcliffe. I wanted to drop a pebble today to remember the anniversary of when Dave went to jail for us.
My name's Ellery Arnett. I'm a member, and I have a pebble of joy. So, oh my gosh, okay. So I am a National Merit semifinalist. So it's like top 16,000 in the country, I think. So that's very exciting.
I'm Paula Watson, I'm a member, and this is a pebble of gratitude for all kinds of connections, including social media. When I was diagnosed with a particular kind of breast cancer that's unusual, I found a special group on Facebook, social media. And now that we are facing some challenges with my dear one's Alzheimer's, spouses with supporting dementia. And that is not to minimize, oh my goodness, the real life connection. It's just to be grateful for the greater connections as well.
So I'm Miriam Patanian. Just a quick update on my son Jacob. Several of you have asked already this morning. He's totally fine. Totally fine, just really bummed he doesn't have the freedom of a car that got totaled a little over a week ago. Totally fine, thank you. This pebble is a pebble of gratitude for all of the volunteers and the parents of the youth that are in the 8th and 9th grade OWL, Our Whole Lives program, who are in the process right now of wrapping up 6 modules of training this weekend. So they had 3 modules yesterday. They're having 3 modules today. This is a dedicated group of kids, a very dedicated group of adults. So to Stephen Shanahan, to Valerie Bayless, who are facilitating, to the guest panelists who participated this morning, very much appreciate all of your work.
My name is Gus. pebble of joy. My son-in-law is completing a long journey Friday, and I will not be here next week. And he's finishing his PhD at Johns Hopkins.
I didn't see any joys or sorrows in the chat, but I'll drop one final pebble for all those joys and sorrows that are still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. I'd ask that you keep one another in your thoughts this week.
Standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me, I am stronger for their courage and wiser for their words. I am lifted by their longing for a fair and brighter future. I am grateful for their vision, for their toiling on this earth. We are standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us. They are saints and they are humans. They are angels, they are friends. We can see beyond the struggles and the troubles and the challenge when we know that by our efforts things will be better in the end. They lift me higher like an eagle fly, carrying my burdens away. I imagine a world where they had we wouldn't be here celebrating today. I am standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I am honored by their passion, given for our liberty. I stand a little taller, I will work a little longer, and our shoulders will be there to hold the ones who follow me. To hold the ones who follow me.
Make sure my computer works. Good. Whew. Here's an old church story. It has many authors. I don't know who wrote it. Many have likely added to it, and I took the liberty of adding to it as well. It's about rodents in church. It goes something like this. Drawn to the ways of the holy. You might be drawn to church, but you're not drawn as powerfully as rodents. You see, they love church. There's usually some food that's left out on Sunday, and then no one's here for the whole week, and they have time to set up shop. So, here's how a lot of different religious denominations have dealt with squirrels, particularly at church. The Presbyterians got together and they prayed on it, and after much consideration, they believed that the squirrels were predestined to be there, and that they should not interfere with God's divine plan. At the Baptist church, the squirrels took a particular interest in the baptistry. So, the Baptists built a water slide that went into the baptismal font. The Lutheran Church decided that they were not in a position to harm of any of God's creatures. So they humanely trapped the squirrels and set them free over by the Baptist church. But 2 weeks later, they all came back because the Baptists took down their water slide. Yeah. The Episcopalians tried another really inventive scheme. They set trays of whiskey out for the squirrels, hoping that they would die by alcohol poisoning. But, well, they learned the hard way that a bunch of drunken squirrels could do a lot of damage. The Catholics then came up with a very creative strategy. They baptized the squirrels and made them members of the church. Now they only show up at Christmas and Easter. Yes. Not much was heard from the Jewish synagogue. They circumcised the first squirrel. And they have not seen a squirrel since. Well, the Unitarian Universalists, they confronted the issue head on. They formed a committee.
Oh, no.
They designed and proposed rules and covenants for the squirrels. Yet by the time the committee was done and satisfied with his work, the squirrels had long since died. Yes, that's a humorous story. Likely many have added to it and others will in the future. But it does teach a lesson of sorts. What is customary or appropriate? What are the customary and appropriate actions of a particular denomination or a particular church? One church might consider A, B, and C to be completely appropriate actions, while D, E, and F inappropriate. Yet another church or denomination the reverse might be true. D, E, and F might be completely appropriate actions, A, B, and C inappropriate. This leads me to wonder whether there are appropriate or inappropriate actions that are done acceptable here at UUMAN. And perhaps more importantly, are there ways of being appropriate or inappropriate here at UUMAN? In our announcements each and every Sunday, we say, no matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. And on our website, it says, regardless of who you love or how you identify, your whole self is welcome here, just as you are. Your whole self is welcome here, just as you are. It'd probably be a good idea to do a little self-check from time to time to see whether or not we're practicing that. Today is our first day of UU 101. This week and next week, we offer it a couple times a year. UU 101 is an introduction to Unitarian Universalism and an introduction to this congregation. So, will we be telling prospective members that this is how you need to be here? I don't think so. But how does one come to know what goes on here? What's acceptable, what's not acceptable? How does one come to know that? How does one come to know how things are supposed to be done here? I remember meeting a young woman at a coffee shop who was a visitor, thinking about membership, and she was kind of afraid of becoming a member because she said she didn't know how things worked, and she was afraid of breaking something. Now, when we say that all are welcome to bring their whole selves here, it goes without saying, we're not saying anything goes, all right? We have covenants and agreements on how we behave with one another. At the UU Institute, which is an online UU learning place, they have several courses on how to do church. One of the instructors writes the following. He says, in her book, Fashion Me a People, religious writer and educator Maria Harris talks about 3 ways in which congregations teach people to become members. She calls them 3 expressions of a congregation's curriculum. One is the explicit expression, which is the clearly stated visual representations of beliefs. We teach explicitly the curriculums that we buy, the congregational vision and mission statements, the covenants and values that we uphold openly. The 7 principles and the 6 sources and the 6 new values with love at the center are explicit expressions of the church's curriculum. Then there's the implicit expression, the norms and practices of the congregation that are not articulated openly. They can be silent, but they are strong and deeply embedded in the culture. Examples are, how are children and youth involved in worship and in social time? How are leaders developed? What are the levels of giving? What are the expectations of membership? How is the minister expected to is allowed or related to children and youth? This expression, the implicit, is also found in what is allowed in such as disrespectful or inappropriate behavior, toxic behavior, sabotage, gossip. Are these things allowed? Then there's the null expression, which is the paradox that exists between that which is omitted, what is absent, but communicates much about the congregation. For example, what words are not used? A congregation with no classes on Christianity or some other religion. No wheelchair access, no sound system, no room for people to park, no seats left in worship, no children's programming. Frequently, these 3 expressions, the explicit, implicit, and null, of congregational curriculum can be in direct conflict with one another. Here's an example. A congregation that fights for fair wages for workers but does not pay fair compensation for its staff. Or a congregation that says it wants growth, yet sabotages all efforts towards growth. A conflict in values becomes a great problem for newcomers because the congregation does not walk its talk. We will never be perfect, and that's all right. But while perfection is unattainable, we should be trying to be the very best Unitarian Universalists we can be. That is from the UU Institute. The congregation's culture is like an iceberg. 1/3 of it is exposed. That's the explicit portion, what we say, what we see on the walls, our principles. But 2/3 of it is submerged beneath the surface. That's the implicit, or the null. It's hidden, and it's not necessarily bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just hidden. And for a new person, they have no idea what's submerged. They see principles and they see good stuff or whatever on the walls, but they don't know what's underneath, the good or the bad. So, question. Can we bring our whole selves here each and every Sunday? Are there parts that we have to leave at the door because we feel like they might not be accepted here? Because we don't know what's underneath the surface. We don't know about that implicit or null aspects of church life. Alice Walker says, Writer Alice Walker. Any God that I ever felt at church, I brought with me. So, using this as an example, might people who are bringing God with them have to feel like they have to leave God at the door when they come in here? And if that's the case, what does that say about us? Is prayer acceptable here? Here's what Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you, falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Would someone who prays the rosary every day, a member of this congregation, be looked at differently than one who meditates every day using a set of 108 mala beads? How would you feel if one of our members said that upon the death maybe of a loved one that they wish to partake in the Jewish rite of mourning called sitting Shiva? Would you consider that to be odd? What if a member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation said that they occasionally or regularly went to the Catholic Church and participated in the sacrament of confession on a regular basis? Would you think that's odd, or would you accept that? Are these kinds of religious practices acceptable here, or are they something that people kind of keep in the closet? What does it mean if we don't fully embrace these religious ways of being? Would we be truly accepting their whole selves? I'm sure we have our blind spots, and I'm sure that we here at UUMAN have room for improvement. It's been a few years, I don't know, but a show of hands of any members here who took the class transgender inclusion in congregations. Any? Yeah, we have 6 or 7 here. We probably trained about 30 people here in this class. It's been a few years. It was right around COVID. And in that course, Transgender Inclusion in Congregations, was a wonderful class. It wasn't really just about transgender inclusion. It was about including everyone, ways of being. It was teaching us how to be including everyone. It transcended the transgender inclusion. It was a wonderful class. It sought to bring light to, shed light on the submerged culture, the implicit and the null. It's not bad, it's just invisible to most people. We also have our monthly, their religious past, the religion of their past, and how can they best carry forward the best of what they had and incorporate that into this place while leaving other things behind. And that what one person leaves behind and one person carries forward can be different things. They don't have to be the same thing, yet they're all welcome and acceptable here. And again, we had our internal discussions here at UUMAN about the changes to Article 2 in the UUA bylaws. It was a difficult conversation, yet we had that conversation here. We didn't sweep anything under the rug, at least we tried not to. We had our discussions about it, and we did that covenantally and in a healthy way. I'm proud of the congregation for doing that. Sometimes explicit actions help make those actions become kind of implicit over time. Again, not a bad thing. It becomes just like what we do here. We hang a pride flag out front saying that's an explicit thing. We see you. You are welcome here. And when we do that over and over again, it becomes embedded in the congregation implicitly. It's what we do. We have a visible playscape out front that's saying to not only the people here, but to anyone going by that we value children and families here. It's right out front. That's what we value. And that's an explicit statement, and soon will be implicit. I think it already is implicit, but we've just made it more explicit. Explicit, implicit, null. Above the surface, below the surface, it's the church's culture. It's us. It's who we are. So when we say your whole self is welcome here, just as you are, yet we say that, but welcoming isn't really about welcoming. Although welcoming is nice and friendly, and it is that thing, welcoming isn't truly nice and friendly. Welcoming, at its best, at its deepest, is about belonging. Belonging. Truly belonging encompasses nice and friendly, but it also encompasses maybe sometimes the rough edges that we all have, the not so nice parts. When we get grumpy or irritated, yet we're still belonging here, regardless of that. To someone who belongs with their whole self, one might say, God, I don't like you very much right now, but I love you. But I love you, and I couldn't imagine this place without you. I don't like you right now, but I'm so glad you're here. May you feel empowered enough, loved enough, belonged enough to not leave anything at the door when you walk in here. To bring it all in, to bring your whole self in.
In an effort to fulfill the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talent. With this, we'll now take the offering. You may also give using the Give Now option in the Breeze app or by texting GIVE to the number in your program. This month's 50/50 recipient is the SAM Foundation. Any checks or Breeze donations specifically designated as 50/50 during this month will go to support their work around suicide awareness.
We accept this sacred offering generously given by our beloved members and friends. Thank you. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission.
Please stand if you're able and join in the singing of hymn 1053, How Could Anyone? Please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing, which is printed in your service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Go in peace and enjoy your week.
Yep, yep. Anybody's got a
Awesome.
trailer
Lovely.
hitch, standard trailer hitch, it'll work.
It's really exciting because this year we're doing it in a combination with
Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to be a whole lot of people. And last year we did it in the back of Mark's truck, and I'm like, that's going to be a lot of runs for that many people. So
Yeah.
we could use the trailer.
Yes. And what would be nice, something to lay on the floor. It'll be a hard floor.
Well, last time we got nails and hay.
Okay.
So it's slow ride. So.
Slow ride, are we leaving the
Yeah,
property?
the walls are property.
Okay.
The walls are about that high. Yeah, we're staying on the property.
Yeah. If we want to, we could most of that, but I think it'll be good. All right. Yep, yep. I will.
Lexi knows the firm date. I'm sure I have it.
It's probably the last Saturday and Sunday in October. Sunday, yeah. I saw this week. Where's your cake?
It's gone. It's gone.
It's
What cake do you look for?
black
It's a black glass